praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Ha-Brakah Kodash, double honors to our apostle elders which rule Great Millstone well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba babal. Alright? And the Lord is hearing our prayer, abba babal, because that's what's coming on America. Abba babal. Alright? Evils are coming on America and coming on the world because of the wicked, the so-called white man, the red devil, which rule the world. Alright? The Lord has him in power so that he could bring a great judgment using this man. This red devil, the so-called white man, is a sword in the Lord's hand. Alright? And it says in the scripture, the Lord says this, in 2 Esdras 15, verse 5, Behold, saith the Lord, I, alright, and it's lowercase Lord because this is Yahushai speaking. When you go back to Revelation 7 and the seals are being opened by the rider of the white horse, that's Yahushai. Yahushai was given the right hand position of the Father. Alright, you can get that in Revelation 5. And he was given all authority of heaven and earth under Yahweh. So Yahushai, he's coming to pretty much establish his authority on earth. That's why he's going to have many crowns. He's going to take the heads of the kings that rule today. Alright, because they're ruling in wickedness. They're unjust decrees. Woe unto them that decree unjust decrees. Alright, and what I'm about to show you is an unjust decree. Alright, pretty much they're making it illegal for you to farm or have a ranch in the entire European Union, which currently in 2023 includes America. Alright, so this means famine. Alright, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, Esau, Yahushai, right? He unleashed Esau, the red devil, and that red devil, which controls the resources on the earth, is now causing famine, death, and destruction. Alright? But at the same time, his destruction is drawing nigh, because the elect are repenting, and soon Yahushai will save us. And with that great sword that he gave Esau, will Esau use and destroy his own kingdom, America. It says in 2 Esdras 15 verse 14, Woe to the world, because you're going to have a nuclear war, and them that dwell therein. Alright, because you're going to be living here while there's a nuclear war. America, the golden city of the world at this time in the wicked's hand, and you're going to see this golden cup be destroyed. Alright? You're going to see this place, this great city, be destroyed in 1 hour. Alright? And that's why you see the borders in the south, they're opening it up and saying, pretty much get over here as soon as possible, because they're getting ready, the elite of the so-called white race, to do Yahweh's deal and nuke America. Alright? The Lord's going to put it in the elite's heart to fulfill Yahweh's will. The ones that control, the world through their financial system, their wicked financial system. He's going to use them, which he's been using them to make these nukes, right? To fund war. It says, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword, the so-called white man, and their destruction draw nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Alright? Because there's going to be a lack of bread, there's going to be great tribulation, and eventually there's going to be a World War III. Alright? So these things in 2 Ezra 15, which are prophecies, are coming to pass. I'm going to play this video for you now, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
The Netherlands will start buying out farmers' businesses at between 100 and 120% of their appraised value. This plan was approved on Tuesday by the European Union as part of a plan to cut nitrogen emissions by half by 2030. This is something that Dutch farmers have been fighting for years, not just months. We've been covering it for months, but they have been after.
Now, you heard what she just said. All right, which took place in the European Union, but it was either the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023 when they actually passed a law in their union with America, with the European Union, that they're all one. All right, and so now these laws that are taking place in the European Union will now affect America, and they explain this. I'm gonna just let it play. And I'm gonna let the host, him and his wife, they explain what's going on.
Because this plan has been taking shape, they've been warning us that the government wants their farms. They were right. This literally means that farmers who've been protesting have just sort of lost, quite literally lost the farm. And what happens if they don't want to sell? Well, many of them will be forced to, because the government will refuse to renew licenses or set new rules that drives them out of business anyway. Here's a statement from the Dutch politician who was pushing for this, that she says the 1.47 billion euro Dutch scheme we approved will facilitate the voluntary, how voluntary? Well, they're going to pretend it's voluntary. Closure of livestock farming sites with substantial nitrogen deposition on nature conservation areas. The schemes will improve the environmental conditions in those areas and will promote more sustainable, environmentally friendly production in the livestock sector without unduly distorting competition. Now, according to this scheme, the government will buy out and dismantle some 3,000 farms close to nature reserves. They're saying this is a voluntary buyout scheme that targets the top polluting small to medium livestock farmers and is.
So they're going to destroy the resource of food, all right, around reserves, which where we're at in Colorado, all right, one of the neighborhoods that are around a reserve is a poor neighborhood, right? So they're going to destroy these food sources and also the poor neighborhoods. That's what they're going to do. All right, because the wealthy, they have stores. They have storage. The wealthy, they have storage of food. But the poor, right, they're going to be affected by this the most. These are going to affect the poor people the most.
Part of a larger scheme to reduce soaring nitrogen emissions in the Netherlands. But is it true? And is it just, if that's really true, and it's just about saving the nature reserves area. So they show us these videos where people are going out and measuring with these, I think they blue or green boxes, and they're like, they set them up all over, and they're like, oh yes, a lot of nitrogen in this area, right? And so they're saying the nitrogen runoff is hurting these wetlands areas, these protected wetlands areas. But if it's true that it's just about these wetland areas and preserving these nature reserves, well, then why not let these people farm someplace else? And, that is maybe in a better geographic location. They can't. This is from the European Commission. Again, the announcement we just showed you says under the schemes, the beneficiaries guarantee that the closure of their production capacity is definitive and irreversible, and that they will not start the same breeding activity elsewhere in the Netherlands or within the EU.
So it's like signing an NDA, like we're going to buy.
So as you can see, they said that it's the end. They're pretty much depopulating. All right, they're openly saying they're gonna depopulate, because without that food, people are gonna go hungry. Without the ability of work, because that's what food does, because you get the transportation, the harvest, the transportation, the production of it, right? The retail, where you got the whole logistic system of it. All those are going out the window with it. The trucking, the stores that store the food. Why do you think all these stores are shutting down in Babylon? All right, because there's going to be a day where there is no more food. Not because there is no food, but because of the red devil, the so-called white man. He's controlling the food, and his balances are unfair. All right, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The righteous are destroyed and the wicked are rewarded. All right?
You out. You're not going to then start farming anywhere else now.
You can never do this kind of farming again. You're done. So, you may...
So, did you hear that? This farming, which pretty much goes back to the ancient world, to the beginning of life, right? The Esau's just destroying and saying it's no longer allowed in the European Union, which rules the world, all right? And its allies being the other nations. This is why the other nations are going to nuke America. I was just watching this report, and this Russian was saying, really, Americans don't understand what's dangerous about what's going on. When they just struck Kremlin, whether it was Putin or, Ukraine or America, the European Union, struck the Kremlin with Putin not reacting and striking out. It's making America look insane, like a wild, crazy person, a violent, crazy person. See? So what they're doing is they're setting up America to be destroyed. Okay? And these other countries that are in bed with America, this whore, like EU, which America is the whore that rides the beast, the European Union beast, and that military might they have together, NATO, all right, they're going to turn against America. It's going to say, going to hate the whore. They're going to pretty much team up with Russia and devour the whore. The 7-head beast with 10 horns, which is that European Union and NATO, is going to team up with the BRIC nations, with the bear, all right? And they're gonna fucking devour America because of the fucking confusion that comes out of America. Because America is the one that sets the laws, the standards for the world through the European Union, through the United Nations, and through other secret societies that they've set up on the earth. This is why the headquarters of these meetings take place in America, all right? And they're funded through America because the head bank is in America, all right? And they go, they're all Confederate because they're all Edomite nations, all right? And pretty much they're bringing out a new world order, and it's depopulation time. And it's all judgment at the hand of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, which they're holding the sword, Esau Edom, which the Lord gave him a great sword, that nuclear missile. And that's really going to be the end of it, is when those nuclear missiles devour America.
Maybe you say, okay, I'll move and I'll do cattle farming in, Poland or whatever. Nope, that's in the EU. You cannot. So if you love your job, if you love, I'm going to play you later a clip from a woman who's a cattle rancher in Wyoming who legitimately loves raising cattle. She loves her animals. She's going to have to say no, say goodbye to that. She's third or fourth generation business. You can't do it unless you want to move to China or Russia or
Japan,
South America or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You cannot do it inside the EU.
Agriculture is arguably the oldest profession on the planet. That's basically why we have civilization, is through agriculture. How can they in 2023 not realize that if you get rid of farmers, you cannot have a civilization? Any civilization whatsoever.
Because this is what the World Economic Forum wants, right? They want to provide us with processed fake food, right? That's going to be industrialized. They're arguing, of course, that these farms that they'll shut down are near sort of city areas, right? Well, there's parks and sort of green zones where they're going to then put in, condensed apartment complexes so they can create these sort of 15-minute cities.
Well, you make a good point about...
What you got to remember, they got to depopulate the majority. All right? They don't want the majority. They're going to depopulate the majority of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You're not the minority. You're the majority. The majority making up the poor, all right? The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. It's no coincidence. It's genocide. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is running a genocide on your ass, on your kid's ass, right in front of your fucking face, and you're thanking him for it. This is why the Lord is so angry. Not only angry with the wicked every day, but also them that do wickedly of his own people. Esau is destroying you and your family, your people, all around you, and you don't even give a fuck. You just get up and go straight to work every day. Don't even bat an eye. A tear don't even fall. You don't even, the Lord's going to destroy you for your unfaithfulness. You 2/3 that are in America that see the writing on the wall, which that idiom they got from the Bible. All right, in the book of Daniel, there was an event where there was a heathen drinking out of the golden cups of Israel, out of the temple, and he seen a vision of a hand writing on the wall, which really was the Lord pretty much declaring the end of that time, of that age, of when the Assyrians were ruling Babylon. And he brought the Medes in to take over Babylon. While this time in spiritual Babylon, America, the Lord's going to bring the end of this Babylon with great violence, swift and great violence, a nuclear war. All right?
About the trade-off here, because a lot of the things that they intend to do have a negative carbon footprint. Much more so than farming. And
right,
we're
so if
going to
you're
talk
create
about
like
that in a second.
fake meat, Beyond Meat, or any of the other crap that they're going to foist on us, to Philip's point, it's all worse. It's all worse than what they're doing right now. It's all worse than any of this impact that the farmers have in the...
And why? Because they're the wicked. The so-called white man is the red devil. The wicked. That's why he wants to do wicked shit. That's why the people are mourning. Because the wicked are in power. And who are they that are in power? The wicked. All right? They just did a Congress hearing with the head of the southern border, right? The government head of the southern border. And they said the death rate increased when this man came in power. These red devils, the so-called Caucasians, they are created to take peace from the earth. Not to give you peace, but to take peace from the earth. All right? And that's how they do it, is they create war. They create famine. They cause disease. Why do you think they control the CDC? Why do you think where there's war in Ukraine and in Sudan, there's biolabs? Why do you think these things are there? Do you think it's a coincidence over and over and over again? While them that are in the know, we're at the end, and it's the Lord controlling this red devil, and the Lord is bringing plagues upon this place. Above all.